So for the preparation, honestly, I haven't done much preparation.
Welcome to knwoledge. So today we have Fernanda Christian Vidya Putra with us, a law IUP student at Airlangga University. So how are you, Fernanda?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Okay, wait. What do people call you?
People usually call me Fatman or Nanda. Either is fine.
Okay. So well, can you tell us a little about yourself?
Okay, sure. So I'm Fernanda. I was born in Surabaya in 2005, but I've been living on the edge of the city in Sidoarjo. And I'm currently international undergraduate student in UNER or University Airlangga in Faculty of Law.
Wow. Can you tell us a little about your major?
Sure. So my major is law. I major in law. It's the only undergraduate program that I have in Faculty of Law, specifically in the International Undergraduate Program. So it's basically, well, it's just like what you will think if you hear someone that is studying law. All we study about is just law. But like it's just different types of law on different stages of the law as well. And it's just about Indonesian law. Even though we're from the IUP program, it's still about Indonesian law because at the end we will graduate with SH, so Sarjana Hukum.
How has your experience been so far?
It's been nice actually. I had my doubts entering into the university, but thankfully everything was okay, everything is fine, and the friends are also very fun, the lecturers are also very good, and everything that I feel like I should receive as a law major, I feel like I have received, so that's good.
According to Fernanda, what is your biggest challenge as an IUP law student? Can you tell in specific?
Sure. The biggest challenge for us is that we're studying law in Indonesia, and everything is still in English. So all the lectures are still given in English, but all the laws are still in Bahasa Indonesia, except for certain laws which have been officially translated. But you know, when we enter into the workforce, we will still have to do everything in Bahasa Indonesia. All of the documents we have to make, all of the ethics we have to do, all of the procedures in court, everything will be in Bahasa Indonesia. So there's that particular barrier in the language itself, which is why sometimes some lecturers ended up giving lectures in Bahasa Indonesia just because at the end, you know, they say, well, you'll have a sarjana hukum and you'll work here, so why not understand the term in Bahasa? So that's the particular challenge for us in translating them.
I see. So how do you develop yourself outside of the academics? Maybe you join an organization or internship, or maybe the others?
Yeah, well, I'm gladly in 2 organizations right now. Well, I'm a member of 3, but I'm only actively participating in 2. One of them is our executive student body, the BEM, Badan Eksekutif Mahasiswa. I'm very active in that one. I'm also in ILSA, which is International Law Student Association. It's an association which members are law students from around the world, which are interested specifically in the field of international law. So in these 2, I'm a person that really likes to work. So I really like having activities to do after class. Even though I live very far away, but that helps me pass time in a way, and I've been really enjoying that. I was just a staff on the previous term on the administration, but thankfully enough, I've been promoted on both of them. So on BEM, I'm currently the department secretary, so my task surrounds the administration of my department, which is Kominfo, Komunikasi dan Informasi. And then for ILSA, I'm currently the head officer of member and organizational development. That's basically our HR division. So I'm managing that as well. at the same time. But I'm also a member of PDURIS, which is Persekutuan Doainis. So it's our Christian group in FH. So that's the one thing I like about Faculty of Law in UNER, is that we're still very inclusive with all religions.
Okay, so you tell to us that you join a lot of organizations, right?
Yeah.
So how do you balance your academic responsibility with your personal life? And do you have any tips for another students or maybe the similar student in similar programs?
Yeah. Honestly, I would be lying if I say I have the exact formula on the balance itself. But I've been trying to figure it out myself for the past 2 years now. This is my second year. So what I figured out is just there are some things that you need to let go if you really want to be that busy. It's just the general consequence of being or having that amount of responsibility. That sure, it may be very much beneficial, especially in the long term when you go into the job market and stuff like that. But in the current time, then it is also required for you to sacrifice some time. So in my experience, I've been prioritizing the organizations and academics as well on pretty much the same level. But what I've been sacrificing is just going out with friends. But that can be substituted with having calls with my friends, also meeting online, having gaming nights and stuff like that. All of that can be done from home. So it doesn't have to, I guess it doesn't have to interrupt my other activities, as well as also packing as much activities to one day as possible. It's okay if I talk much, right? It's okay. So I really hate if I have activities on the weekend, particularly Saturdays. That's just the day I really want to be home and do nothing else, because I just want to pack everything from Monday to Friday. So if I want to have a meeting, okay, we'll schedule it somewhere after class or between classes even. If you want to have projects, want to meet with friends to discuss our assignments, we can do that after class or between classes as well. So it's just how you neatly manage the time to your liking as to not mentally exhaust yourself and in trying to get through all of the stuff you actually need to do.
Outside of those academic things, do you have any hobbies? Can you tell to us more specific?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
So currently, so really my hobby is more into music. I like singing. I love singing. I love singing from when I was very young. In kindergarten, I started singing. I only started singing in public in junior high, but I still have that. And even I mentioned earlier, I was in PDURIS. Sometimes I'll also participate as a singer there at the POA team, the praise and worship team, and that's very, very fun. I still love singing very much. And I do have weekly lessons for piano as well. So I also do piano as well to some extent.
Do you have any struggle during studying law?
Yes.
Which basically you're studying in English and
Yeah.
another language is Indonesian, right?
Yeah.
This is your most struggle when you study.
Since we are communication students, Indians still don't understand
Yes.
about law things.
Yeah.
Can you explain to us?
Yeah, I guess it's because there's a difference between English and legal English, or what we say legalese. It's legal English. It's the type of English, like I haven't mastered it a lot, but of course I've been introduced to it because I've also read some international conventions on some of our courses, and those do use legalese, and legal English is much more, how do I describe it? In some parts, it has a little bit of ambiguity, but in another sense, the scope is very specific in a way, and that, in effect, can allow us lawyers to play, quote unquote, with the provisions of the law. But of course, we play in an ethical way, and that's ethics of law. But for our language, it is a struggle. Sometimes their regulations, the provisions say something, and we think that okay, so this provision is allowing for this to happen under this circumstance, this circumstance, this circumstance. But then actually, when we talk to our lecturers, it turns out that no, it's the exact opposite of what we thought it meant. So it turns out that under these specific conditions that it should not happen, even though we initially thought because of the wording, it's a very convoluted way of wording in a way that makes it very confusing sometimes even for us. But that's what we're training for here in law school. Also, when we're talking about adat law, so hukum adat law as well as Islamic law, which is mandatory for all sarjana hukum, that's also a struggle because in adat law, almost all of the literature is either in Dutch or in Bahasa Indonesia, but none of us speak Dutch. Only the lecturers speak Dutch, but we don't speak Dutch. So we will usually be referred to articles written by the lecturers in English, which have already interpreted the Dutch original writings about hukum adat or adat law. So sometimes it's a struggle because we have the terms in Bahasa, and then we have the terms in Dutch, and then we have the terms in English. Why is it Dutch? Because we used to be a Dutch colony, and basically a lot of our law is still based on Dutch law. So that is sometimes a barrier as well, the Dutch element of that.
Okay. Do you plan to work abroad or stay in Indonesia, and why?
I hope I will be okay. Well, this will be difficult, but I have a dream of living abroad. I prefer to work abroad in my tender age, but then when I get older, I don't mind going back to Indonesia just to have my old days, I guess, here and my elderly days. But then I can be supported by my stronger income abroad then. But there'll be a struggle because the diploma will still be sarjana hukum, which is only applicable here in Indonesia. So if say I want to practice in SIAK in Singapore, that will not be possible with SH. So I'll still need to go to law school in Singapore to then go through the law training there and also obtain my license there to then be able to work there. So in truthfulness, I don't know if I will be. If I will be, probably not in the field of law, or maybe if law only as an advisor, not to practice in court, because it will be very difficult and very expensive to get an LLB or a bachelor in law. That's very expensive. We do have a program for that in IUP, but it's a tier program, double degree program, so that once we graduate, we'll have SH LLB as our gelar. Yeah, so SH for Sarjana in Indonesia and LLB from the Netherlands. Or the fast track program, which is SH LLM. So LLM will be equivalent to MH, Magister Hukum. So if we have the LLB, we're able to practice in the European Union. So it doesn't have to be in the Netherlands because they use a common system there. So if we do get that to that point, the LLB, we can work in the European Union, in countries in the European Union. So that's also an option, but that one is very expensive. So let's see where life goes there.
Since the IUP program will eventually take you abroad for further studies, what preparation are you making now?
Okay.
And which country
Okay.
are you planning to choose?
Okay. So let's begin with the easy question. Which country?
It's okay.
Yeah. So in Faculty of Law, Universitas Airlangga, we have a few partnerships with a few universities abroad. We have, so for our double degree is with the University of Maastricht in the Netherlands, just close to the border with Belgium. So that one, you'll get the SHLB as I mentioned earlier, and that will be a 2-year program. So that's the longest program out of all of them. So you'll spend the first year in Indonesia, the following 2 years in Maastricht in the Netherlands, and the last 1 year remaining there back in Indonesia for your skripsi, for the requirement to graduate here for your SH. Another option is in Durham in the UK. That one will be for the fast track program. And the fast track program is the one where you get the LLM, so that's the equivalent to Magister Hukum. But that one is shorter because you'll spend the first 2.5 years in Indonesia and 1.5 years in the UK to finish your master in law. But then you'll still have to come back to Indonesia to do your presentation for your scriptsy. Another one is for exchange. Now for exchange, it actually varies from semester to semester. We've had offers from Turkey, South Korea, Australia. So all of that are optional, and for IUP students, we are, it's not obliged, but we are very highly encouraged and prioritized to getting this international exposure. But it is up to us which country we want to go to and for how long. For the exchange is the shortest one, that is only for 1 semester, 6 months. But then you only get the score that you accumulated from the 6 months and no degree from the university for exchange. But it is the cheapest option since it is the shortest. But I understand that my parents have already prepared a certain amount of money for me to spend to go abroad. But it's just a matter of when. So this year, my English certification will expire. So if I want to go abroad again to study, I'll need to redo it again. And I'll probably need to prepare again to regain that certification since it will expire this year. So that preparation I have not started. Personally, I want to start it next semester because I'm planning to go abroad in the 6th semester since this is my 4th semester. Because this year I still need to focus on the organization stuff because I'll have the period until December. So yeah, that's the plan.
Okay. Last but not least, do you have any quotes or motivation for others to follow your basic journey?
Okay. Well, nothing comes as it is. Whatever comes to you will come at a cost. Whatever you want will come at a cost. But in a way, that cost is what will make you happy in the long term. So if you're struggling right now with everything or anything you're doing, you'll just push through it. You be confident in yourself. You pray to God for His guidance. And at the end, the tunnel will show and the world will show its beauty to you as well. So it'll all be worth it at the end is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, that's all for today's episode. Thank you once again, Fernando, for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you as well.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.